Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is the 15th January 2025. In this video, I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Even before that, all of you please understand we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. You might be knowing the cost of the training is over 8,000 US dollars, and this is a complete free training course. You can access all the training lessons at our NeoStock YouTube channel. At our channel homepage, please click on the tab Posts. Some of you might be seeing the tab Community. Click on the tab. You get access to this post. This post is having a YouTube playlist link that will take you to all the training lessons. You just click on this link. Now we are into the playlist Supply Demand Zone Price Action course. Now you have access to all the training lessons. You just need to scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here, starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one and strengthen your skills related to supply demand zone price action. I have also provided the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. Please join at our Telegram channel. It will be helpful to you. Each time we release a new video or any other important update, we will be providing at our Telegram channel. Now let's get into the report generation with the help of NeoStock Software Supply Demand Zone Top-Down Analysis Strategy Builder. Okay, first let us identify the stocks near the demand zone and inside the demand zones. Starting with the yearly time frame, let us find the stocks where price closed inside the yearly demand zone. So 3 stocks are filtered where price closed inside the yearly demand zone. I am giving you only few seconds time to watch the report, so I request you pause the video, study all these stocks. After that you can proceed further. In case if you did not understand the structure of this report, I request you complete our training lesson 21.1. In that video, I have explained each and every column, their values, abbreviations in detail. Okay, next, yearly time frame. Price closed inside yearly supply zone. We don't have any stocks. Next time frame is a half yearly. Stocks near half yearly demand zone. 2 stocks are filtered. Next, half yearly time frame. Stocks near half yearly supply zone. 1 stock is filtered. Next half yearly time frame. Price closed inside half yearly demand zone. 5 stocks are filtered. Next, half yearly time frame. Price closed inside half yearly supply zone. 1 stock is filtered. Next time frame is quarterly. Stocks near quarterly demand zone. 2 stocks are filtered. Next quarterly time frame. Stocks near quarterly supply zone. 2 stocks are filtered. Next quarterly time frame. Price closed inside the quarterly demand zone. We got 34 stocks. And the first 22 stocks you are seeing in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 34 stocks. You can further reduce this list by adding a high probability parameters. So let me further filter based on EMA Confluence. So in the EMA Confluence parameter at quarterly time frame, I am setting the EMA filter quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA Confluence. When you set EMA Confluence, if the trend is sideways, EMA Confluence does not get any extra advantage. So that's why in the trend at quarterly time frame, I don't include sideways trend. I include either up or down. So with this filter EMA Confluence, now the list is reduced to 17 stocks. Currently price closed inside these quarterly demand zones, and these quarterly demand zones are having quarterly EMA Confluence. You can always look into the search filter. Trend is up or down, quarterly trend, and EMA Confluence, quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA Confluence. This is the way you have to understand. Okay, next, quarterly time frame. Price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. We have only 2 stocks. Okay, next time frame is monthly. Stocks near monthly demand zone. 8 stocks are filtered. Next, monthly time frame. Stocks near monthly supply zone. 6 stocks are filtered. Next, monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly demand zone. We got a big list. 49 stocks are filtered. And the first 20 stocks in the list you are seeing here. I am scrolling the list down. So total 49 stocks where price closed inside the monthly demand zone. We can further reduce this list by adding the high probability parameter EMA Confluence. Let us verify how many of these monthly demand zones are having monthly EMA Confluence. So in the EMA Confluence parameter at monthly time frame, I am setting the filter monthly demand zone having monthly EMA Confluence. And the trend at monthly time frame should not be sideways with EMA Confluence. So I am selecting up or down. So with these filters, now list is reduced to 25 stocks. So first 21 stocks in the list, first 22 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 25 stocks are filtered. Okay, next, monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly supply zone. Let's filter. We got 8 stocks. Currently price closed in these 8 monthly supply zones. Out of these 8 monthly supply zones, how many monthly supply zones are having EMA Confluence, monthly EMA Confluence? Let us verify. In the EMA Confluence at monthly time frame, monthly supply zone having monthly EMA Confluence, and the trend at monthly time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Let's filter. We got 3 stocks. So these monthly supply zones are having EMA Confluence, but unfortunately all these monthly supply zones are pierced supply zones. But you know how to deal with pierced zones. You already learned 3 strategies in lesson 28. Okay, this is about monthly time frame, and the next time frame is weekly. Stocks near weekly demand zone. 13 stocks are filtered. Next, weekly time frame. Stocks near weekly supply zone. 9 stocks are filtered. Next, weekly time frame. Price closed inside the weekly demand zone. We got a very big list. So total 85 stocks are filtered. Out of these 85, you are seeing first 16 stocks on the list. For the reference, I am scrolling the list down. So total 85 stocks where price closed inside the weekly demand zone. Out of these 85, we can further reduce the list based on setting high probability parameter EMA Confluence. Let's verify how many of these weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA Confluence. So in the EMA Confluence at a weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly supply zones having, weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA Confluence because price is inside the weekly demand zone. So that's why we have to set EMA filter to demand zones. But at a trend on weekly time frame should not be sideways, so it can be up or down. Now let me filter the stocks. Now the list is come down to 19 stocks. First 18 stocks we are seeing in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 19 stocks are filtered where price closed inside the weekly supply zones. Okay, next weekly time frame. Price closed inside the weekly supply zone. Let's filter. This is a tested. Inside weekly supply zone. So 9 stocks are filtered. Where price closed inside weekly supply zone. Out of 9, how many of these supply zones are having EMA Confluence? Let's verify. So EMA Confluence, weekly time frame, weekly supply zones having weekly EMA Confluence, and the trend on weekly time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Let me filter. Now we got 4 stocks. 4 weekly. Out of these 4, third one is a pierced supply zone. Okay, this is about weekly time frame. Next time frame is a daily. Entry time frame daily. Let us find the stocks near daily demand zone. We got 6 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity demand zones from this list. We don't have any high liquidity demand zones from this list. High liquidity means high priority, high liquidity demand zones. Because HLQ zone strategy, you have to use only high priority, high liquidity demand zones. So we don't have any stocks. Okay, next daily time frame. Let us find the stocks near daily supply zone. We got 7 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity supply zones from this list. No, we don't have any high liquidity supply zones from this list. That means daily time frame we don't have any stocks near the demand or supply zones. We don't have any today. But we may see in 75 minutes time frame. But before that, for daily time frame, let us find the stocks where price closed inside the daily demand zone. We got a big list. So total 45 stocks are filtered where price closed inside the daily demand zone. First 15 stocks you are seeing in the list. I am scrolling the list down for the reference purpose. So total 45 stocks are filtered. Out of these 45, how many demand zones, daily demand zones are having daily EMA Confluence? So let us add that filter for these 45 stocks. So in the EMA Confluence daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. And the trend on daily time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. So let's filter. Now the list is come down to 8 stocks. These 8 daily demand zones are having daily EMA Confluence. And some of these daily demand zones are pierced zones also. You can apply pierced zone strategy on those stocks. Okay, this is a daily demand zones, price closed inside daily demand zone and also having daily EMA confluence. Next, daily time frame, price closed inside the daily supply zone, inside daily supply zones. Let's filter. So we got 31 stocks and the first 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. Further scrolling the list down. So total 31 stocks are filtered where price closed inside the daily supply zone. Okay, now let us further filter this list based on the daily zones having daily EMA confluence, daily supply zones. So in the EMA filter at a daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. And the trend on the daily time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Now list is come down to 16 stocks. Now you are seeing first 15 stocks. I am scrolling the list down. So total 16 stocks. So this is about daily time frame. Next time frame is 125 minutes. Stocks near 125 minutes demand zone. 6 stocks are filtered. Next 125 minutes time frame. Stocks near 125 minutes supply zone. 4 stocks are filtered. Next time frame is 75 minutes. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Let us find the stocks near 75 minutes demand zone. We got 11 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity zones from the list. Dalmia Bharat is a pierced zone. We can't use it. Page industry is also a pierced zone. You can't use it. We don't have any high liquidity 75 minutes demand zone from this list. The only last hope is 75 minutes supply zones. But you have low priority zones are there. But remember, their success rate is not 80%. Maybe less than 80%, maybe 70 or 60. When you don't have any other options, we can depend on the low priority, high liquidity zones for the trades point of view. But definitely you should prepare for lesser success rate on low priority, high liquidity zones. Okay, next time frame, next for 75 minutes time frame, let us find the stocks near 75 minutes supply zone. We got 13 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity supply zones from this list. Oh, MFSL. We have MFSL, 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. That's it. We have only one high liquidity supply zone we identified in today's list. That is 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. That's it. This is the only one stock. So because we don't have much high liquidity zones, you can also focus on DIT trades, daily income trades, or high probability setup, WIT trades. In that, if there are any intraday opportunities, you can explore. Intraday traders point of view, I am telling. But DIT trades or WIT trades, those who are planning trades for as a short term, you will be holding the zones until you reach DIT targets or WIT targets. So this is about 75 minutes time frame. Next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near 25 minutes demand zone. We have 8 stocks are available. Next 25 minutes time frame, stocks near 25 minutes supply zone. We got 8 stocks. Next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near 15 minutes demand zone. We got 10 stocks. Let us filter this list further based on ITF Confluence, LTF, ITF, demand zone Confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone Confluence. I am enabling the filter. By setting this filter, we got 4 stocks. That means all these 15 minutes demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone. Okay, next for 15 minutes time frame, stocks near 15 minutes supply zone. We got 7 stocks. Out of these 7, how many are having a LTF, ITF supply zone Confluence? Let us set. So that is 15 minute supply zone with the 75 minute supply zone Confluence. Enable the filter. Now out of 7, we got 6 stocks. All these 6 supply zones are part of the 75 minute supply zone. But third stock, it is a pierced supply zone. You can ignore it. Next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near 5 minutes demand zone. We got 8 stocks. Out of these 8, how many are having ITF Confluence? That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone Confluence. I am enabling the filter. Now we got 4 stocks. These 4 5 minutes demand zones are part of the 15 minutes demand zones. Okay, next for 5 minutes time frame, stocks near 5 minutes supply zone. We got a big list. We got 22 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list you are seeing. I am scrolling the list down. So total 22 stocks are filtered near to the 5 minute supply zone. Out of these 22, how many are having LTF, ITF supply zone Confluence? That is 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone Confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter from 22 stocks, we got 11 stocks. And these 11 supply zones are part of the 15 minutes supply zone. Out of these 11, few high liquidity, pierced zones are there. You can ignore them. Pierced supply zones. Our focus is on supply zones. So we have 2 pierced supply zones. Okay, this is about stocks near demand and supply zones. Next, we will identify NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. Let us generate. Let's start with NIFTY. Generating monthly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. So this is NIFTY monthly supply demand zone chain. Always look into the zone column to find high liquidity zones. Look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones. Always look into the LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. Apply these rules to the remaining reports also. Okay, next, generating weekly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 125 minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. So we have only one demand zone, so I'm scrolling the list so that you know this is the nearest demand zone and this is the nearest supply zone, below demand zones, above supply zones. Okay, next 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. All these are all supply zones. I'm scrolling the list down. So here you have nearest demand zone and this is the nearest supply zone, 49. Okay, this is about Nifty supply demand zone chain. Next, Nifty Bank, that is nothing but Bank Nifty, generating monthly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, weekly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. So this is the demand zone. So that more demand zones you can view. Next, 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. All these are all supply zones. So this is the nearest demand zone. Below all demand zones, above all supply zones. So this is about Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. Next, we will generate bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly, daily income trades. Monthly income trade bullish trade setup, entry time frame daily, entry zone demand zone, bullish or bearish trade setup at daily time frame. I am selecting bullish, and zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhances score 12. We can accept pierced zones in daily time frame because we already learned the pierced zone strategy in lesson 28. So 75 minute zones onwards we will filter them, but daily time frame definitely pierced zones will be helpful to you to apply pierced zone strategy. Okay, I am filtering the stocks. We got 7 stocks. These 7 stocks are currently supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Monthly income trade. Entry time frame is daily. These daily demand zones are entry zones. Out of these 7 entry demand zones, some are high liquidity zones are there. Apart from that, we can further filter based on zone confluence for high probability setup zones. First filter is LTF, ITF, demand zone confluence. So in the demand zone confluence, LTF, ITF, that is nothing but daily and weekly demand zone confluence filter I enabled. With this filter, out of 7 stocks, we got all 7 stocks. That means in all these 7 stocks, these daily demand zones are part of the weekly demand zone. They are part of weekly demand zone. That means they are overlapped with weekly zone. And the weekly trend is up. That is ITF trend is up. So that's why if weekly demand zone is having weekly EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify them. In the EMA confluence weekly time frame, because the daily is part of the weekly zone, that's why we are looking for weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. We got 3 stocks. So these 3 demand zones are even more high probability setup demand zones. See, some of these demand zones are already tested, the second one and third one, because they are powerful. Previously they gave you the opportunities. Okay, this is a LTF, ITF based filter. Next, LTF, ITF and even HTF zone confluence. So removing ITF filter, let's focus on even HTF. So in the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Second filter daily with monthly demand zone confluence. Third filter weekly and monthly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters LTF, ITF, HTF confluence, we got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, these daily demand zones are part of the weekly demand zone. Both together again part of the monthly demand zone. And monthly trend is up in the first 2 stocks. The first 2 stocks, any of those stocks are having monthly EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup. Third one you can ignore because monthly trend is sideways. So in the EMA confluence, monthly time frame, monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence filter is enabled. We did not have any stocks. So monthly EMA confluence is not available. So this is about monthly bullish trade setup, monthly income trade bullish trade setup. Next, monthly income trade bearish trade setup. Entry time frame is daily. Entry zone is supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup, at entry time frame daily, I am selecting bearish. And these daily supply zones, we need to set the filters. Zone confluence should be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and enhanced score is 12. And pierced zones I am not setting for daily time frame because you already learned pierced zone strategy in lesson 28. Only we have to filter 75 and below, not a daily. So we got 2 stocks. We don't have any pierced supply zones. Let us verify if any of these 2 stocks are having ITF supply zone confluence. They are supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. These entry zones are daily supply zones. Now let us look for this daily zone is part of weekly zones. That is zone confluence. So in the supply zone confluence, I am setting the filter daily supply zone having confluence with weekly supply zone. That means daily supply zone should be part of weekly supply zone. How many stocks are there? Both the stocks. In both these weekly daily supply zones are part of the weekly supply zone. And weekly trend is down in both the stocks. And daily is part of weekly. And weekly supply zone is having weekly EMA confluence. Those stocks could be even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. So weekly supply zone with weekly EMA confluence filter is enabled. So we don't have any weekly zone EMA confluence stocks. Now next let us look for HTF confluence also. LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. So in the supply zone confluence we have to set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. Second filter daily supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. Third filter weekly supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters we did not get any stocks. So this is about bearish trade setup, monthly income trade. Next, bullish trade setup, weekly income trade, entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone, demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup, at 75 minutes time frame, I am selecting bullish. These 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0, zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. All three filters are applied to 75 minutes demand zone. Let's filter. We got 7 stocks. These 7 stocks are currently supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frames are 75 minutes demand zones. Out of these 75 minutes demand zones, some are already high liquidity zones. Even then, we will further filter based on the high probability parameter zone confluence. So first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 75 minutes and daily demand zone confluence. So with this filter, all 7 stocks are having ITF confluence. That means these 75 minutes demand zones are part of the daily demand zone. They are overlapped with the daily demand zone. And the daily trend is up in all these stocks. Daily means ITF trend. So that's why let us verify if daily demand zone is having daily EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup stocks. So in the EMA confluence daily time frame, because 75 minutes demand zone is part of the daily demand zone. That's why we are looking for daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. With this we got 2 stocks. So these two 75 minutes demand zones are even more high probabilities supported. That's why Bharti Airtel already tested 4 times. Okay. Next, LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence we will set. How many are removing EMA filter? In the demand zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is 75 with daily zone confluence already enabled, 75 with weekly demand zone confluence, daily with weekly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence, we got 5 stocks. In these 5 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are part of the daily demand zone, both together again part of the weekly demand zone. All these 75 minutes are part of the weekly zone. And the weekly trend is up in 3 stocks, second, third and fourth. If any of those stocks are having weekly EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence weekly time frame, weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence, because 75 together with daily is part of the weekly zone. That's why we set this filter. And trend on the weekly time frame should not be sideways. So it should be up because it is bullish trade setup. So we got 3 stocks, all 3 uptrend are filtered. They are having weekly EMA confluence. And all these are daily and 75 minutes, 75 together with daily are part of the weekly zone, and weekly zone is having weekly EMA confluence. The zone means demand zone here. So these 3 are even more high probability trade setup parameter supported stocks. So this is bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame is 75 minutes. Entry zone is supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes time frame, I am selecting bearish. The 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score 12. All three filters are applied to 75 minute supply zone, and we got 19 stocks. So first 15 stocks you are seeing supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. First 17 stocks. I am scrolling the list down. So total 19 stocks are filtered. Out of these 19, some of the supply zones are high liquidity supply zones. Apart from that, we should also filter based on the high probability setup zone confluence. Because entry zones in all these 19 stocks, the entry zones are 75 minute supply zone. So if these 75 minute supply zones are part of the daily supply zone, that is LTF, ITF supply zone confluence. Let us verify how many we get. So in the supply zone confluence, I am enabling the filter 75 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. That means all the 75 minutes entry zone should be part of daily zone, daily supply zone. Now the list is come down to 12 stocks. In all these 12 stocks, these 75 minute supply zones are part of the daily supply zone. And also the daily trend is down in all these stocks because the daily is ITF. So because 75 is part of the daily and daily trend is down, if daily supply zones are having daily EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence, daily time frame, because 75 minute supply zone is part of the daily supply zone. That's why we are looking for daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. How many stocks will support? Out of 12, we got 7 stocks. So these 7 75 minute supply zones are even more high probability trade setup supported zones. Always you can look into the search strategy, how we filtered the stocks. Okay, next let us filter based on LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence. I am removing this ITF EMA confluence. We have to set LTF, ITF and HTF. 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Second filter is 75 minute supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. Third filter is daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, supply zone confluence, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these 15 minute supply zones are part of the these 75 minute supply zones are part of the daily supply zone. Both together again part of the weekly supply zone. And the weekly trend is down in only one stock, the second stock. If this second stock is having weekly EMA confluence, it is even more high probability trade setup. So let's verify. In the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. Both are filtered, but ignore the first one because the trend is sideways. Sideways trend, EMA confluence does not add any extra advantage. But downtrend, weekly EMA confluence gives huge advantage. So the second one is even more high probability setup. That's why it is already tested 8 times. That is what we should understand. So earlier trade opportunities, it might have given a good trade opportunities. Previously this zone might have been filtered in the old reports. So already gave good tests. Moreover, it is moving between high liquidities, demand zone and supply zone. Okay, this is about bearish trade setup, weekly income trade. Next, bullish trade setup, daily income trade, entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone, demand zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes entry time frame. I am selecting bullish. These 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means zone is not pierced. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score 12. All 3 filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. Now let's filter the stocks. We got 5 stocks. Currently, these 5 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade, and the entry zone is 15 minutes demand zone. Out of these 5 15 minutes demand zones, there are some high liquidity demand zones are available, 15 minutes demand zones. But we should also further filter them based on zone confluence. First filter is LTF ITF demand zone confluence. That is 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I enabled the filter. With this filter, we got 5 stocks. In these 5 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zones. And 75 minutes trend is up in all these stocks. That is ITF trend. If any of these stocks are having a daily EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup. 75 minutes demand zone with daily EMA confluence. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame. Why 75 minutes? Because 15 minutes demand zone is part of the 75 minutes demand zone. That's why we are looking for 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence. 2 stocks are filtered. These 2 are even more high probability trade setup supported demand zones. Okay, now we will filter based on LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. So let us remove this EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Second filter is 15 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. Third filter 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence, we got only 1 stock. HTF EMA confluence, no need to check because the trend is sideways. It won't give any extra advantage with EMA confluence. But it is a high liquidity zone, 15 minutes high liquidity zone. Okay, this is about LTF, ITF, HTF zone confluence. Next, this is a bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame 15 minutes. Entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at entry time frame 15 minutes, I am selecting bearish. And these 15 minute supply zones should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0, zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. All 3 filters are applied to 15 minute supply zone. Now let's filter the stocks. We got 14 stocks. These 14 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade. And entry time frame zones are 15 minute supply zones. So we have to look into the supply zones. Out of these 14, 15 minute supply zones, some of the zones are high liquidity zones. 15 minutes high liquidity zones. So we can further filter these stocks based on the high probability parameter zone confluence. So first filter is LTF, ITF supply zone confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, we got 11 stocks. That means in all these 11 stocks, these 15 minute supply zones are part of the 75 minute supply zone. And 75 minutes trend is down in all these stocks, ITF trend. Because 15 minute supply zone is part of the 75 minute supply zone, if the 75 minute supply zone is having daily EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. So in the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, because the 15 minute supply zone is part of the 75 minute supply zone, that's why we are setting 75 minute supply zone with daily EMA confluence. With this filter, we got only 1 stock. This is even more high probability trade setup supply zone. Maybe that is the reason why this is already tested and moving towards the demand zone. Okay, this is about bullish LTF, ITF supply zone confluence. Next, LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence. I have to remove ITF EMA filter, removed it. And in the supply zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, that is 15 minutes with 75 minute supply zone confluence. Second filter, 15 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. Third filter, 75 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence, we got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, these 15 minute supply zones are part of the 75 minute supply zone, both together again part of the daily supply zone. And daily trend is down in 2 stocks. If daily supply zone is having daily EMA, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at a daily time frame. Why daily? Because the 15 minutes entry zone is part of the 75 minute zone. Again, both together part of the daily zone. That's why we are looking for daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. So 2 stocks are filtered, but second one ignore it because it is sideways. Sideways EMA confluence does not add any advantage. But first one trend is a downtrend and it is a high probability trade setup supported stock. Moreover, it is a high liquidity supply zone. So this is about bearish trade setup for daily income trade. And in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. First 17 in this list are indices. Remaining all are equity stocks. I am scrolling the list. I will be giving you very few seconds time. I request you pause the video and after that proceed further. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. So total 240 stocks. So this is the end of the report. I hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.